What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Now, we have a movie controversy. Finally, the controversy's on the other side of the pond, all right? This is a Nigerian movie, Children of Blood and Bone. Now, me, as an African-American, okay, as a descendant of those very same people, the Yoruba, right? As a legitimate Yoruba chief. I am a real chief, not a McDonald's chief. All right. As a tax-paying member of Nigeria, right? I'm excited to see a movie, a fantasy movie representing black people in its natural habitat, right? In a fantasy setting. I'm excited to see the representation. But the controversy is, because I've never read the book, right? It's called Children of Blood and Bone. And if you look at the casting, it is an all-star casting. Clearly, a lot of money's being thrown at this African fantasy. A lot, right? And of course, another controversy is there doesn't seem to be any Nollywood actors in a movie that's a Nigerian Yoruba fantasy movie. You would think that there would be more Nollywood actors in the movie. At least 50% of the main cast, right? Right? Now, of course, a lot of the Nollywood actors would be unknown, outside of Nigeria, right? Now, I happen to know, because I get to watch, when I'm in Nigeria, I get to see their real media. And I'm telling you, they got some actors that can go. All right? They can go. All right? And there's this one, I've got to get this guy named. To me, he's a superstar. All right? This is a young brother who should have been the lead, right? But they put that Idris dude there. But Nigeria has a Nollywood actor that could have did it. He's been in a few big box Nollywood movies. To me, he got the look, right? He should be in Hollywood. He should be like, this guy's got it all, right? But I don't see him in the movie, right? And there's a whole bunch of other actors that I'm swearing they be bullshitting on them Nollywood actors. Some of them, man, I'm telling you, they got some chops, some acting chops. Straight Nollywood actors got some chops, and they should have deserved the nod, and they should have got the opportunity to play the main characters. I believe that, right? Now, the all-star cast, a lot of them are in fact Nigerian, but they're like diaspora ones. They're the ones that you know. The entire cast is the one. These are big box mega stars. Now, here's the issue. Okay? If they didn't have the big box mega stars, then that means that the investors wouldn't have came to put the money behind the movie. And this is going to be the problem when it comes to doing movies, bringing African stories to light, right? First of all, there's going to be a lot of toes being stepped on because, because first of all, there's so many stories. There's just endless amount of material to be used to make any kind of Afrofuturism, fantasy, anime, drama, war epics, everything. They're going to be stepping on toes because historical accuracy and one nation going to be saying that didn't really happen, and, the controversies, because it's going to be pitting groups against different groups, whether in a fantasy setting or historical reality setting, and that's going to cause some issues, right? You got egos and stuff, right? But there's so much material. But the problem is, we all know to fund these movies, you got to get some goddamn couple. You got to get a big old group of old multimillionaires that want to get a return on their investment. And the movie industry is cutthroat, and they like, hey, listen, I want a return on, if you want me to adapt this book into a movie, I need guarantees that I'm gonna get my money back, right? And the reality is, and it's unfortunate, that the market for this movie, let's be honest, the market for this movie is the African Americans in the West. They're selling it to people like me, because we are the ones who are going to go to the movies and see it. There's not that many movie theaters in Nigeria for an investor to say, okay, I'm going to put $120 million in this movie and I'm going to get my money back. Because there's just not that many movie theaters in Nigeria, and there's not that many people that go to the movies in Nigeria. They would never get a return on investment, right? They know that. And if they use actors that's lesser known, they know they're not going to get the return on their investment. Even if the actors have the acting chops and qualities to play the role better than anybody else, right? The bottom line is people who make money, who make movies, are in the business of making money. And we all know right now it's hard as hell to make a good movie and make money. Movies that, you know, back in the day would have made $300,000-$400,000, you know, dollars in the box office, they barely breaking even because times is too hard. People ain't got time to go to no damn theater, right? So they gotta combat that, right? But they know there's an emerging African market for film and entertainment, and people continue to try to break into it by bringing in like all these stories, like all these books and these fairy tales and these fables, right? But the only way to get, it's hard to get people to watch unless you got a couple names that are recognizable to where say, I'm gonna go see the movie because they're in it. Like Viola Davis is in it. That's the, listen, sold. There it is. The fact that they have Viola Davis in the movie, once again, means I, as an African American, am gonna go see it. That means I'm gonna take my dollars, I'm gonna spend my money on a ticket. And I'm gonna buy some popcorn, then I'm gonna buy a soda, then I'm gonna get some goddamn nachos with an extra cheese, and then I'm gonna go ahead and make sure they got those goddamn little jalapenos and shit that they be trying to hide in the back. But I'm like, hook it up. Give me like 4 of them because they try to give you 2, and that's just not enough to cover all the goddamn nachos. You understand what I'm saying? This costs money. They're trying to get me to actually get up and go to the thing. They're gonna use my love for Africa and my culture, me being black, they're gonna make me get up and go. Because, you know, when Black Panther get out, they know black people are gonna get up and go to the theater. So if white Hollywood can go make a Black Panther, if Marvel can go make a Black Panther, and they know that when they make a movie, you know, utilizing, you know, fantasy, but in an African aesthetic, they know black people globally are gonna get up and go to the theater. We're not gonna wait for it to come out on Netflix. We're gonna get up and we're gonna go to the theater, right? And when we get up and go to the theater, they make money. And the thing is, they know that if you put a bunch of what they conceive unnamed actors in a movie, we're not gonna get up and go to the theater. We're gonna wait for it to hit Netflix because we're gonna think of it as a Netflix movie, a Prime movie, Paramount Plus movie, right? But if they want us to get up and drive with gas being $75,000 a gallon, right? And then go to the theater and pay $56 for a small popcorn and $78 for a mega extra large goddamn drink that we're gonna fill up like 3-4 times because we're gonna get our money's worth, right? Then they gotta put somebody that got some heat. And I swear, they bring in their heat. They bring in the heat with the cast. I can't lie. They're all black. And I guarantee you, the because of who the cast, they got Idris Elba in the movie. I'm gonna go see it. The Brits gonna see it. You got the Brit blacks, you got the goddamn American blacks. You got Viola Davis and Idris Elba. That we there. They done made their money back right there. And then they got the rest of the cast in there that we all know and love. You know, but unfortunately, because that's how Hollywood works, it seems like the Nollywood actors who should have got the nod just off the strength did not. Now I'm hoping that they're in. They gotta have some of them in there, right? But when you're sitting at them executive boards and you're spending hundreds of millions of dollars, you're not caring about people like me talking about, oh, be authentic with the source material. They're not caring about, oh, why don't we give these actors? They don't care. That's just stuff we talk about. You think people who spending their money with their money, they want to return the investment, care about some actor getting their opportunity because they deserve it? As far as they don't want to hear that shit. They want to say, who gonna bring in the bucks? I need box office stars. And that's what's happening, right? And it is called Children of Blood and Bone, and everybody seems to be kind of older. So I don't know how that's supposed to work out. And now the person who wrote the story is upset and she don't want to have nothing to do with the movie, which is kind of like, if she's not excited about it, it kind of dims it a little bit. Because it's like, how can I be excited about something that she's not excited about, you know? But as as an outsider that's seeking this, like this type of shit we seeking. Europeans love watching their Viking ancestors rape, murder, and pillage. They love watching how they used to murder each other at the cyclic rate during the goddamn dark age. They love that. They get inspired and it inspires them to go out and do it more, right? Is what you're doing now. They love that. Asian people love seeing that ninjas and samurai and shit. They love that shit. It brings cultural pride. And I'm sure there's controversies within the stories told within the Asian community when their stories are told. You know, like they have groups that say, no, that didn't really happen, that didn't happen, that's not true to the source material, such and such and such and such. So we're gonna have these, and as black folks, now that we are becoming the main a main focal point of new media when it comes to procuring our us as customers by telling our stories, by adapting the books black people write, you know, by adapting the fables and stories and the fantasies and the real and the historical and everything. Now that we're getting to the point that we're starting to get that, right, there's going to be a lot more controversy because everybody want to make sure that they get their piece of the pie and that they are centered the way they should be centered. But unfortunately, as ruthless as Hollywood is, it's just not going to be like that because Hollywood is definitely not fair. We all know that. It's not fair, right? And I just hope that, you know, I hope it inspires, I don't know, man. I just hope it inspires more, and they just got to find a way to give Nollywood their opportunity, man. They got to put some respect on their name. They need more. Those actors be busting their ass, and they make some good ass movies. The only problem I got with Nigerian movies is you motherfuckers don't know how to end movies. You just stop. The shit ain't over yet. Y'all got a problem. I don't know what the writers and the directors do in Nigeria, but you guys never end movies right, ever. It shit stops way too soon, right? And you guaranteed to hurt everybody's feelings at the end of the movie. Like, you not gonna, like, I mean, y'all crushing hearts, all right? Y'all gotta slow that shit down, all right? That's just too much. You ain't gotta be all extra dramatic every goddamn movie. That shit's wrong. I don't want to leave the movie depressed every single time because you done murdered. I done invested all these hours in this character. You made me think they gonna live and then they die. I don't like it, all right? Goddamn shit. Anyway, let's learn about this controversy. I'm still excited. I'm gonna see the movie. I'm gonna support it. I wish that the writer, I wish there was a way to appease the writer, but I'm still gonna support because of all the black actors, and I'm sure there's gonna be other people given opportunities within the movie. They won't be the main cast, but they'll be in there, right? And hopefully they get some shine, some highlight, and I hope it's a successful movie. And I hope that they don't do anything that's disrespectful, you know, when telling this story. I hope everything goes smooth, everything goes right. It's a nice movie, and I do hope that the lady, whatever her issues is, I hope they resolve it. You know, because that's just, if you're the creator of a story and you get to the point to where you're not even wanting to be a part of the project, that's usually an indicator of something, right? I want to see authenticness and what the story was supposed to be about, right? But I'll take what I can get because I don't got $200 million to throw at anybody to make anything authentic. I'm sorry. I wish if I did, I checked my pockets, my savings, you know, my check-ins, you know, I just ain't got it. You know, yeah, I got a check coming in, but you know, I'm waiting for that. And so, you know, when that come in, and then I can put it with the other check, and we can put something together. I'm gonna call my cousin and see if we can put something together. And maybe we can make it happen. But I can't make no promises. All right. So anyway, you guys tell me what you think in the comment section. Shout out from Think Tank, learn something, teach something. I'm out.
I have gotten dragged so many times on Twitter, well, X, for my opinion on the movie Children of Blood and Bone coming out next year. So let's talk about it on TikTok. There's been so much controversy around the book. First of all, the author, the book, the adaptation, the casting, the history, all of it. And I'm not here to battle anyone around any of their opinions around this movie. Here are my own thoughts. So Paramount just released these official photos from the movie that's coming out so soon, and I've read all three of the books. I'm a huge fan of the books. I love it. Well, not the third book. The first two I really enjoyed. The third book, not so much. And again, this is all purely based on taste. My biggest excitement is that this feels like it's not being treated like a diversity project post 2020. It actually feels like money was spent to make this movie. It feels like actors were excited to create this movie. It feels like it was properly well done. From the teaser that I've seen, from the trailer that I've seen, from even the pictures, it looks like, okay, this is giving us like what we've seen, what we've been expecting now from the movies that Black creators are creating, essentially. The cast is so stacked. Every single person I love. Thames is on the fucking soundtrack. Oh my God. The cast is so amazing. I think as a Yoruba girly, one of the biggest critiques people are talking about is that this is feeling not like a Yoruba retelling. And my own argument for this is I'm not going to say I'm going to go watch this movie for it to be teaching me about Yoruba culture. If anything, it is very, very loosely, very, 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 very loosely based off of Yoruba mythology and Yoruba essence, essentially. I like to say it's like Yoruba inspired fantasy rather than actual Yoruba fantasy. I would go to Kunle Afolayan for actual Yoruba fantasy. I'll also say every critique I've seen about this movie, first of all, let me show you more pictures. Like, oh, look at that. Oh, I'm just so excited. Anyways, I get their critiques. I feel like this is one of the movies I'm excited for, and I don't really get like this is like for me. This is Harry Potter level for me. My 2 cents on this is, Black fantasy is oftentimes treated as less than, especially within the Hollywood scene. And for this adaptation, I understand the critiques, and I want to always make sure that we're not hating. We're rather criticizing and hoping to get better next time. We should have chances. I want more Children of Blood and Bones. I want more Sinners. I want more Wakandas. We want more Black stories told, and we're going to have to start from somewhere. I think this is a fun somewhere to start. So put your flipping pitchforks down and enjoy the fucking movie. It's not even out yet.
Children of Blood and Bone is a book that came out in 2018. Okay. It is based on Yoruba folklore, but it's basically a fantasy book. Now, people have been begging and pleading for this New York #1 bestseller to be made into a movie, and now it has been. The writer is a Yoruba author by the name of Tomi, and she actually took to her TikTok yesterday to let us know who the cast was gonna be.
Ooh, who's the cast? Who's the cast?
Now, this is it. It is Viola Davis.
Okay.
Damson Idris.
Okay.
Idris Elba.
Okay.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Okay.
Cynthia Erivo.
Okay.
And a whole cast of non-Nigerians. Now, with Nollywood being where it is, given that they also gave a casting call out in Nigeria saying, hey, come and audition, a lot of the timeline is up in arms saying that, one, the cast are all over 30 and the title is Children of Blood and Bone.
Right.
Two, a lot of people have said it's a missed opportunity. When you look at things like Hunger Games or Harry Potter, there are a lot of young stars that actually started their careers in iconic movies like this.
Yeah.
And three, and most importantly, people just feel like because there were no actual Nigerians casted, one, the accents are going to be terrible. Two, it's not going to be as authentic. And three, and maybe most importantly, they feel like once again, an opportunity has been snatched from talented Nigerian actors. Now, what are your thoughts on this?
It's crazy.
I work in Hollywood and entertainment. Here's my 2 cents on the Children of Blood and Bone controversy. The film studio behind Children of Blood and Bone, Paramount, they seem to be treating this project as if it's a Black Panther or Crazy Rich Asians type project, as opposed to a Harry Potter or Game of Thrones type project. The issue with that is that when it comes to sci-fi and fantasy adaptations, especially ones geared towards younger audiences, there's typically an innate confidence in the source material, so much so that the filmmaking teams behind these projects feel very comfortable with casting relatively unknown actors and actresses. Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, they had relatively unknown actors and actresses for the first few seasons of their projects. When it comes to Children of Blood and Bone, everybody is an A-lister, and that's problematic. You have like Amandla Stenberg, Idris Elba, Viola Davis in this film, and for a project of this magnitude, they're really too popular and too famous. For sci-fi fantasy projects that are young audience leaning, where you're introducing a new world to an entire audience, you really want people who are relatively unknown that younger audiences can see themselves in and who can grow up with, especially as you end up having like many different seasons or sequels of this project. You really want to be able to have relatively unknown people who you can create stars out of. That's why Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson were so like successful after Harry Potter, because like people could actually see themselves in these characters because they're not blasted everywhere for you to see elsewhere. Same thing with like Emilia Clarke in Game of Thrones. Like it really is more attractive to have relatively unknown actors and actresses. So hearing that the author Children of Blood and Bone had a falling out with the filmmakers of Children of Blood and Bone, the film, and is kind of distancing herself away from the project is not surprising to me, because if the casting decisions are this misguided and problematic, I imagine the entirety of the filmmaking process is just as so. The script is probably not that good, probably doesn't adhere to a lot of the important pieces of the actual book series. Would not be surprised, unfortunately. Last thing, when I mention the lack of confidence, I'm really speaking to the fact that I feel like a lot of film studios are not very confident in the idea that Black moviegoers actually want to see sci-fi and fantasy. That is why they're treating this as a Black Panther or Crazy Rich Asians type of film, as opposed to a Harry Potter or Game of Thrones type project. And it's because of that that I think a lot of other aspects of the film itself are just not showing up well, or probably aren't showing up well. There's an authenticity to like the nerdiness, the geekiness of sci-fi and fantasy projects that I worry probably isn't existing in this adaptation. And I almost wonder if that's what the author of Children of Blood and Bone is reacting to. I wouldn't be surprised, because if you're just choosing all A-list actors to be in this project, I think there's greater problems at hand.
So we finally have the first look at Tomi Adeyemi's Children of Blood and Bone that's coming out in January 2027. However, this is right after the controversy with her saying she wants nothing to do with the film and only focus on her books. Talk to her about the books. The film is nothing to do with it. She doesn't want anything to do with it. Anyway, this is the first image released. So I believe that's the main character, and that's the Prince Inan. The costumes, it's not bad. It's not bad. It looks okay, yeah. Then that's the king, the queen, and the controversial princess, Amari. Yeah, that's been controversial. Yeah, that casting has been controversial. But yeah, I'm getting a bit of like a Black Panther feel to it. Like the thrones give me like a Black Panther vibes, which is alright, no problem. But I wish they would have taken more Yoruba-esque inspiration, you know what I mean? Like the Yoruba beaded crown, which I've spoken about on my YouTube channel. That would have been sick. Like if you put that in on the king. But it's fine. No, it's fine. I'm just the way I am. I nitpick since I'm an African history and culture nerd. All right. And again, that's the prince in his armor, and I think that's one of the generals. I can't remember the name of the character. I've not read this in a while. But yeah, that's the prince. The attire is okay, but I'm like, the armor, you could have taken, again, more inspiration from the actual Yoruba Nigerian armor-esque style, bro. But, you know, it's a good thing they're not doing that, because I'm going to do that one day. I need to keep that stuff in my pocket. Yeah, I'm like, oh, no, don't touch it, don't touch it. I'm the one who's going to do it, all right? But overall, to me, it looks all right, but I want to see the trailer. Yeah, I'm worried about the CGI, because there's a lot of magic, there's a lot of power stuff happening in the story. So will the CGI line up? We'll see. So this is Zaylee, again, the main character, Princess Amari, and Zaylee's big brother in the story. Now, let's compare them to the art of these characters, okay? So this is how Zaylee looks on the book cover, yeah? So she's a bit more dark-skinned. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty accurate from what I can see. But obviously, yeah, they definitely should have casted a dark-skinned Nigerian lady. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Plus, they should be a bit younger. They're teenagers in the story, but it is what it is. And this is fan art interpretations of the characters and how the people creating this art, see them. So, like I said, it looks okay, but with all the controversy, I don't think people are going to be focusing on this. They're going to be like, oh, okay, Tommy, this looks all right. Why are you not pushing this? This is your book. This is your story. This is what you wanted. You gave it to Hollywood. What's going on here? You know what I mean? What do you guys think from the first images that you're seeing? Is it good? Does it do nothing for you? Let me know.
I just had to take a moment because I just also saw the visuals for Children of Blood and Bone that just came out, and I'm excited. I'm also conflicted. I don't know how to feel. I'm excited and I want this to win, but I also want for the author to be excited about all of this. I am going to go see it because with all the people who worked on this film, I can imagine that we want to be able to see more projects like this made. So I'm rooting for everybody black. I want to see everybody win. So, but those visuals look amazing. They look amazing. And if you like stories like that, you would love my work. I've created a series called Songs of the Sahara. Book 1 is The Serpent in the Sand. The Kickstarter is still accepting pre-orders. You are welcome to go and order there. And production is ongoing, and we will be sending them out early next year. So
I want to play devil's advocate with this Children of Blood and Bone book to screen adaptation, and this is coming from somebody who's part Yoruba. Yes, my Yoruba names are Ayinke Abibatu Motorayo. So please
Let me just get that out of the way. And I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria, with origins from Abeokuta. I haven't read this book. I do have the physical copy and I do want to read it. But I feel as though people are forgetting that this is a fantasy book. I understand that it does look a bit gimmicky. When I saw it, I wasn't like, oh my days, this is bad. You know, like I was actually like, oh, I kind of like it, because I feel like it all comes down to interpretation. First of all, you have to keep in mind, okay, it's a fantasy book. I can't speak fully on it. Like, I'm not saying that, oh, people that are outraged are wrong, but then I feel like it also speaks to like the interpretation of the Yoruba culture from their like the reader writer's perspective. For instance, like big jewelry, so gold, like out there, like jewelry and like attires, that is part of Yoruba culture. It's interpreted in a different format in like this movie. Because I saw that they had this like big lion on their like attire, so their war attire. And again, that even goes to another part, that there's fighting in this book. Like there's, from what I can gather, there's like a war, there's battle. They're not going to wear Iran buba to battle. And I feel like we've also not seen like African culture. Well, we have seen African culture and like black culture shown in terms of like war, but not in like I don't think we've seen much in like a fantasy realm. You know how we have, let's even say the Odyssey, right? We have Clash of the Titans, all these like different like Greek mythology, fantasy books, movies, whatever. They all have like their own type of like armor and stuff, but we haven't really seen that in like African black culture in terms of movies, right? And not just movies, blockbuster movies. It's probably out there in terms of movies in general, but like blockbuster, like mainstream movies, we haven't really seen it. The only movie we've seen that in is Wakanda, which people are drawing like close you know, relations between the two. They're like, oh, this is giving like Wakanda. And I know that there's been some people saying like, oh, this is like the, you know, Americans' interpretation of what like Africa is and blah 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 blah. And yes, that is most definitely a factor. They are not going to do it as well as like somebody who was born and brought up in African culture in Nigeria, in, you know, the different states across Nigeria. Like it's not going to be the same. It's always going to be Americanized. And obviously that's where everyone involved in this production have fallen short, right? They haven't really implemented enough people from actual, well, to my understanding, from actual like African background. And I don't mean like Nigerians in America. I mean Nigerians in Nigeria. Do you get? So I feel like that's where they've fallen short, but I don't think it's as bad as everyone is making it out to be. I think people already wanted to judge this movie simply based off of the fact that the FMC was wrongly casted, which she was. Because that has happened, everybody's now kind of like on the fence already to like heavily criticize this movie. It's so unfortunate that movies from black production, because black people, we are strict. We are. Like, I just feel like there have been so many subpar white movies in terms of like fantasies and this and that, but like it doesn't get as much like critique because like mediocre like movies, people say, oh, I just want to watch like a comfort, like a trashy rom-com. Mediocrity is only excused in like white spaces, but when it comes to like black people and black spaces, like the critique is here. And sometimes we need to relax, sometimes we need to just have a bit of fun, because like I said, we've not seen like representation as much in terms of these kind of mainstream fantasy black movies. Why are we now dogpiling on it? This is even like, for instance, with that Me and Tuscany, there was literally somebody that said that they told her that if this movie doesn't do well, we're not going to like champion any other black, you know, romance movies, because clearly nobody wants to see it. It's probably going to happen for this as well, because as much as like we're trying to be like critics and be like, oh, it's not this, it's not this, it's not this, watch out, we're not going to get anything else, because we have decided, yes, it must be exactly like this and like this and like this and like this and like this. We're not going to get it. I think people forget that we're actually held to a different standards than like white movies, like the white industry. Like, I don't know. Sorry, guys. Maybe I'm not articulating myself well enough, but do you get what I mean?
I kid you not. 4 pages into this book, and you can see why the casting would be a problem. I'm on like page 100 now, and the color of the character's skin is so integral to the plot that you wouldn't believe that they actually made that casting. And now the writer of the book has stepped away from the movie. there is no way that this movie is going to be good. You can't convince me.
And honestly, I see it too. It very much gives Wakanda. And I think it's a thing for Hollywood studios. You know, they have this idea of what a Yoruba culture looks like in their mind, or what an African country looks like in their mind, or what we would be wearing at that time. Even though it just looks cohesive to your eyes, African people would look at this and say, whose culture is this? Because it's like, it can't be mine. It can't be mine. I'm not even Yoruba, I'm Igbo. I looked at it, I squint a little bit, I was like, it looks fine. But if you look too deep, it's low-key embarrassing. I was on Twitter where most conversation starts, and I was looking at the quotes under this one specific tweet about the Children of Blood and Bone, and most of the comments about the costumes, guys, this is what people are saying. Oh, it's even plastic. It's really given cheap. It's given low budget, but this is supposed to be a blockbuster film. It's given low budget. And you know Yoruba culture is not low budget. If there's anything Yoruba culture is, it's not low budget. So another person said, maybe Nigeria was the friends we made along the way. Am I the only one who thinks that this doesn't look good? Like, this is it? All that drama, and this is it. You guys have woken Yoruba people up with this film. They're gonna be pissed for 40 days and 40 nights. Another tweet I came across was someone comparing the Children of Blood and Bone costuming to a Brazilian soap opera that is based in Yoruba culture. Listen, I watch soap operas, but the only soap operas I watch are Turkish soap operas. Because you know, I like my shit a certain way. Came across this, and now I'm really intrigued because I want to go watch it. And you're asking, why is it Brazilian? Well, because Yoruba people were also victims of the transatlantic slave during the 16th through 19th century. So they arrived in Brazil at that time, and they settled there. So they have a soap opera based in Yoruba culture. This is what the costuming looks like compared to the Children of Blood and Bone. And please don't laugh, but look at how extravagant it is. This is lower budget than the Children of Blood and Bone. This is lower budget than the Children of Blood and Bone. I would actually respect this. This is lower budget. It looks better. It looks more accurate. The hairstyling, the accessories. At some point, it's okay to say they low-key fucked up and they low-key dropped the ball. Whether it's on the script, casting, or costuming, somewhere along the line, they dropped the ball. Are we being haters for picking that out? No, because y'all bragged about this fucking movie to every fucking body without realizing at the end of the day, whether it's fantasy or not, it's still someone's culture. It's Nigerian culture. I'm Igbo. This is specifically for Yoruba people, and they're not happy, and they have every right not to be happy.
Ain't there one of y'all can tell the difference between them Nigerians and the African American. Ain't there one of y'all, put that shit on mute. Ain't there one of y'all can tell the difference. Ha.
I'm with the niggas tonight, and it feels alright. I'm with the niggas tonight, and it feels alright. I'm with the niggas tonight, and it feels alright. I'm with the niggas tonight, and it feels alright. Alright, 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 and it feels alright. Alright, 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 and it feels alright.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan!
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.